The car that I bought in 2013 is the car that I currently still have.
I do appreciate this, and it's a little bit similar to my journey because I kept like my original car all these years. But what I love about your channel is that basically it started as a normal car guy trying to learn how to do the job and sharing it with friends. So it felt very accessible. But today, your Miata is not very simple. You have a very cool Miata. Do you want to share with the guys what kind of Miata you have?
So currently, the Miata that I bought in 2013, it made 102 horsepower, and today it makes 526. So it's gone through many iterations. It still has a Miata engine in it, which, as you know, has been a struggle, and for most people, pushing the horsepower limits will be a struggle in some sense. So it's a VVT swap, forged pistons and rods, Maruha stroker crank. It's 12-to-1 compression with 26 psi, so 1.8 bar of boost. Ethanol only, cannot run it on any pump gasoline. And it's also got a dog box, which I recently put in and is by far the most exciting thing in the car. Now I say it's just a transmission with a car bolted to it.
Actually, this sounds very cool. There are a few very powerful Miatas in Europe, and most of them have actually come out from this shop. So I think we talk turbo Miatas here at SPS. It's a very fitting thing. There is also a dyno here, so I don't know if later in the day there's going to be some activities, but you are going to see some very fast turbo cars. And I think for the last 10 years, getting turbo cars to work has been a struggle, but it is changing. So I think today we have more aftermarket than ever. And it's going to be very interesting because we're going to speak with people from the aftermarket community. We have American shops and European shops, so we're going to talk also like products and stuff. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about the process of making videos? And especially, as you said, you stick with the same car. Many channels these days, they have like a bit of this. You buy one car and then you have to buy another car the next month and another car. You stuck with the same car and the audience followed. So today the channel is very popular.
Yeah, so as you talked about, my car has progressed a lot to a somewhat high level, like a medium high level. Not compared to some of the cars here, but for a street car, it's been developed over the years quite a bit. And as I do that more, the car becomes less relatable to the average owner because I'm doing a lot of things that the average Miata owner is not doing. So to try to keep the channel relatable, as I do with using hand tools and on jack stands and doing 10 transmissions in my driveway and everything, every once in a while I like to buy a completely stock Miata, start from scratch, and I always have a list of things that I want to make videos about that I can't do to my car because I've already done them. So I'll buy a stock Miata, go through all those things that I want to do. I did that with an NB where I bought it completely stock and I did all the maintenance things, videos about the maintenance things, simple stuff, and then I also did VVT swap and nitrous system, how to set up nitrous and how to tune nitrous and what kind of results you can expect. And then I got rid of the nitrous and I did a Roadtrek supercharger setup on that same engine because I'd never done a supercharging system before, so I went through how to do that and the tuning and all that kind of stuff. And so to try to stay popular with more of a, even though the Miata is considered niche or a small community in the grand scheme of things compared to like Supras and GR86 or FT86s and stuff, you know, much more popular cars today, it's tough to keep a Miata channel popular because it's smaller, but I try to do more common things so it appeals to at least a little bit broader audience.
Great. I have a question that is probably what the guys might be also want to know. Future plans. Your car, actually, as you said, progressed quite a lot. There is, as you come closer to the end of the envelope, there is very limited things that you can do. If you have do you have any cool immediate plans, or if budget was not an issue, is it something that you would like to build, Miata or not Miata?
Well, for the current car, it's been almost finished for a long time, but what I really enjoy doing is when it runs good for a while, I start to push it a little bit harder and a little bit harder to see what will break next, and then that helps decide what I will do next to the car. But it is in I would say a nearly finished state, so I really want to get into the NC chassis.
That sounds very interesting. So basically, I would recommend to everyone to check what Greg does. Also, I think every person here knows the car passions on it, but still.
According to my metrics, the German audience is only 2%. So I think maybe a lot of people don't know the channel, but that's okay. It's very niche. Some of the things I do are very detailed, and only a few people will really be into it. But those people really enjoy it. So I just gotta do what I personally enjoy, and then if there are other like-minded people out there, maybe they will find the videos.
We do love it, so please keep doing it. We are gonna come to the next guest, but we are all keep gonna rotating around. So feel free to find us around, stop, and we want to discuss Miatas all day. So who is gonna take the stage?
I think Stefan would like to come up next.
Greg, thank you very much.
I told you I was gonna peer pressure you into something.
So it is clear that the YouTube guys come here first. Because probably we feel comfortable to talk. We apologize if it's gonna get nerdy, but who are you and what do you do?
Okay. I'm Stefan Knapp. I run Knapp Motorsports in the US. I do custom parts and like full-on car builds, kind of like SPS, but not to this level of insanity. But a lot of VVT swaps, 1.6 delete the world, and then I'll do like custom engine builds, full car builds, stuff like that, all over the place.
How did you get into Miatas? How did you get your first Miata?
A friend of mine in college bought one, but couldn't drive a stick, so I drove it 2 hours home, and at the end of that I was like, gotta buy one of these things. I was a Volkswagen kid, don't knock it, alright, stance, lowered everything. And then I got into the Miata things, and it started as an inside joke. I would like build cars for friends or like help friends out. And then after like 10 years, I quit my engineering job and just do this full time now.
This sounds actually very cool.
Yeah.
And how you end up on doing more videos? How did you guys end up on YouTube?
So a buddy of mine started the channel with me, and we started filming. I did a K-swap in my NA right when the new, like the K24 Z3 kit came out. And then we did that. We did a full turbo build on it. It made 400 wheel horsepower, and it was terrifying for me. Slow compared to Greg's car, but I would never hook or anything like that. So we just made videos on that, you know, dyno testing it, track driving it, all sorts of stuff. I got burnt out on the car, so I no longer have it. And then I bought an NC because it's the best Miata. And so I'll say that. I'll fight anybody right now.
Whoa. Big statements here. So, hardcore NA guy here. So
yeah, so I do have an NA. I have an NA track car. It's just a VVT swap. Of course, took the 1.6 out of it. It's just gutted, makes 140 horsepower. It's just a fun little track toy. And then I have a 2.5 ITB NC that also doesn't run. But
Miatas that don't run is a repeating theme in this company. You're gonna see a few more of us. I want you to come back to your statement and defend it. You said that the NC is the best platform. I have my opinion on the topic.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the guys here have their opinion on the topic. NC versus NA and B.
okay, so if you look at it as what defines a Miata, it is not the best Miata. But as a car, amongst the four Miatas, it is light years ahead of the NA and the ND. And I don't fit in an ND, so I don't like them. But, so my comparison was, I spent probably $40,000 on my NA, spherical components, good suspension, all this stuff. We took that to the tail of the Dragon, made 400 horsepower, and my 2-liter NC with just an intake. And I was probably a minute and a half faster up the tail of the Dragon. And some Zetas, shout out 949 Racing. And it was probably a minute and a half faster up the tail of the Dragon, and it was like I wasn't even pushing the car. Whereas the K-Swap, we're fighting it. Like the NAs, they're great cars, but the amount of like time you put into making them handle well, the NC just does it essentially out of the gate.
I hate to admit this, but it is true. The NA and B platform is fantastic, but the development for RX-8 and NC and all the very cool suspension components, I think it is a more modern platform. I have another question. You said no ND.
I like the ND. I just supercharged one for a customer of mine with a HKS GT2 kit, and it was fun and it's comfortable. But to me, the interior feels like an NB, which if you've done NA to NB, the NB is like tight, and I'm 6'1" corn-fed big dude. I don't fit in an NB. I don't like NBs for that reason, and NDs easy to work on, but I couldn't get comfortable in one for a road trip.
I find this very funny because the majority of us are kind of bigger dudes. That none of us looks like we would fit in Miatas. Jan, that is around, is a tall guy. We are big guys. It's very funny because none of us fits in a stock Miata. I cannot drive a completely stock NA. And since we mentioned ND and how cool is the engine, for example, the 2-liter engine.
Yeah.
Inside the SPS, there is this very cool black NA with an ND swap. You might miss it if you just pass it very quickly. You might not see it, but feel free when you are around and you go inside. You're gonna see a very cool swap that I think in coming years it's gonna be something that people are gonna start doing because K swaps are cool, but I think there are not cool 4-cylinder NA engine options, and I think ND engine in an A and B, it might be a very cool thing in the future. That sounds very interesting. But if you had the dream build, budget, no problem. Like, what would you do?
Yeah, here comes the tism. So, I really love the BRG 91 that we got in the US. So I want to take a 91, do a just an all-motor VVT build, wide body with AWR wide body kit, and then I want to take a set of daisies, machine them out, make them 3-piece and like 11 or 12 inches wide. So it's a stock center hub, and it's fully restored through and through, just like a nice driver car. Nothing crazy fast. I've done the fast thing. I miss it, but like it was a headache on its own. So.
I fully understand you. It's funny because Jan just completed one of his personal cars, blue NA that is there. That's a little bit this recipe, like wide body with a cool NA engine. Not too much.
Yeah.
I think the big power cars, and especially you're gonna see some of us have had big power cars. They come with their own struggles. Sometimes you just need a simple NA car, and that's that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I will thank you very much.
Okay.
And we're gonna jump to the next guest.
Daniel.
Alright. Very nice to have you here. Guys, Daniel is actually a very important reason of why this is happening. He's a little bit of the brain behind this, not the open house, but the meet of legends here. Daniel, do you want to say who you are and Boffy Racing, your story?
So I'm one of 3 owners with Boffy Racing. We do performance parts. We started the business purely from a hobby perspective. It sort of grew and grew, and it kind of got a bit out of control in terms of the demand. In the UK, there wasn't anyone offering the ability for you to buy all the cool stuff that the little shops made in Europe and the US in one place. So what you'd have to do like 7-8 years ago is pay some random guy from Poland or whatever off a forum for something like a coolant reroute or whatever, a turbo kit. And it just seemed to us, because we were turboing our cars, that there was something lacking where you could just go to one place and buy everything. And that is the model we've kind of ended up with in terms of the business. In terms of the overall story, we're tuners, we're interested in the engines, we're interested in the drive, we're interested in the chassis. We have the most absurd conversations about these cars, and I am a 1.6 king.
As a 1.6 kid, I understand. However, let's talk a little bit more about the business. We're going to come to our personal cars in a sec, but let's talk a little bit about the business, because your story is also quite cool. You guys started a little bit of like as friends that want to do this, put parts together, and now you have a very cool and quite big business.
Yeah, so it's difficult to explain, but when 3 people are obsessed about something, when 3 people stop thinking about the blockers and just start doing stuff, track days, wrenching up until 2 a.m. on driveways. You know, back in like 2015, 2016, we would go on these silly road trips and just have to do ridiculous track ideas. We'd drive them everywhere, and you just learn how to deal with that. And we are information goblins. Like, we have just absorbed everything that the community has put out, and that's you know, really due to the work done in California back in 07, 08, all the way through to 11, 2019. The work that the Americans did for the platform gave us the inspiration on what is possible. And from a business perspective, we've just grown and grown. We have 11 people in the business. We ship globally. We have a warehouse full of interesting stock, and we're systems and business development people. So for us, when we leaned into the business side instead of the car side, because we did do the car side for a while, which was an extension of what we wanted to do, but frankly, workshop is incredibly hard, and you know, props to Jan beyond all belief that he's able to do these builds and make any money to keep this moving. We would be unable to replicate this, and I've said this to everyone in the group. You can't replicate this. It's not normal. And whether TUV is what forces this to be so professional and so well done is an interesting point. But don't take SPS and what they're doing for granted. You know, in terms of the workshop. In terms of our business, we're great at getting parts to you. We can make your dreams happen by supplying the parts. But if you can't build it, SPS can.
Absolutely, and I think towards the end of the interviews you're gonna get Jan here as well, and he says a little bit of the story, because for me, I take this for granted, because living in Germany, you know, I've been here first time I think in 12, and it has been like an amazing thing to see how big the shop is. You definitely come here, and actually it might be interesting to blend a little bit, because I think Jan should stay a little bit how he started this year.
Yeah, so basically the idea was back in the days to track an MX-5 with a turbo, and there was like a forum called MX5DE, and I was talking to the guy, say I want to turbo an MX-5 and use it on track use, and I got like the hate of my life. Like, no, it's impossible to use an MX-5 on track. It's impossible to tour them. It's impossible to make TOE for them. It's impossible to get these cars on street legal. And then I just talked to the TOE guys and said, yeah, how is it possible? Because there are VWs and turbos and stuff, and they just came to us and said, there is a way. You just have to make like emissions testing and do this and this and this, and this was just a starting point. And then you tried, because back in the days we were a dealer of Flyin Miata. So where's the captain? He's over there. So hello. So yeah, back in the days we were a dealer of Flyin Miata. So we just ordered their kits and just dropped them in here, but then it came like to really big shipping problems, because to get the stuff out of Colorado to Germany, it's like you order for $5,000 a turbo kit, and then you have like another $2,000 of shipping. So we saw, okay, this is a problem, and then we tried to investigate into own kits, and yeah, then it's, I think, took to the next level. And on the other side, I would say, yeah, TOE is a problem, but for me it's more a challenge to say, okay, we try to make it as good as we can. The money effort is crazy, so if we would not have the community in our background, we could not spend, just to have an idea, so we spent this year about 150,000 euro just on legalizing MX-5 parts, and it's 99% goes down to power stuff. So as an example, we have a body stiffness test we did on Nordschleife. We had to make brake testing and all the stuff. So yeah, the idea just started to make these cars track able and just make them fast and make them reliable. And I think we are pretty much there, because now when we do track day, we have like 50 cars there. We have the Roadster Challenge, which was an idea from Lennart and mine, to say, okay, let's get more MX-5s on track and have them more fun together, because it's at the end of the story, you know, when somebody says in our YouTube channel, yeah, I can have a BMW M2 and this is way faster for 50 grand. I said, yeah, but this is not the feeling about, you know, you just can drop the top down and you go whatever you want, and you can actually build your own dream car like an MX-5 is a bit like a kit car. You know, you just start it and you use a K20, you use whatever, and we are absolutely open for it to try to always make TOE for it. And to have all this crowd around us and all the people which are coming to an opener, it makes me so proud that even, let's say, my heroes when I was young and when the shop was small, that they are coming here. Like Ryan, he was not there, but he built like the MX-5, and he was like, back in the days, I was watching his stuff on Miata TurboNet or wherever, and I was checking it, and I said, these guys are just making so great job, and I went over to the States.
So part of my story is also very much influenced by what Ryan was doing as well at Singular. Just doing cool, fast turbo stuff. I've got the Button Willow pictures of what Super Miata have done. Some of the fast lap times over at Button Willow and Streets of Willow and Willow Springs and all those tracks. And Ryan's Hyper Miata as well. And that was very pivotal in going, I guess that is what's possible, because it's not just a fast Miata, it was a legitimately fast car outright.
I was not influenced at all. I just built the same car. The worst.
So probably Ryan, you come over so you can see this guy and just give him audience, because I think he just took us, all of us, to the next level. And on the other side, there's like the guys from 9 Racing. So Emilio, I just know him from Miata TurboNet when he's just attacking people. So, and I was just talking to him, let's say 10 years ago, and he was attacking me. So you can't use this wheel like 8 to 15, offset 25 is bullshit to drive. You have to use 32 or whatever, 36. So, and like you guys, I just saw when you did your first time attack stuff, I think with the car was called Crusher.
Yeah, time attack would have been Bullet.
Okay, Bullet. So, and I just saw you use the sequential gearbox and the big turbo conversion, and this is like also the next level. I said, okay, they did this, so let's do this here. And you know, to have all of you guys here and just sit beside. We had yesterday in the evening, we had dinner, and so and we were just talking like we just know each other for 10 years or whatever. It was just a so cool thing. So this is what you told. This is once in a lifetime that something like this is happening, and we can have this as a community in Germany, but you can probably now introduce a bit your stuff, what you are doing.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Passy. I guess most people know me as the builder of the Hyper Miata. I work at Goodwin Racing and Singular Motorsports, so I'm affiliated with both. Is this good enough? Oh yeah, okay. So affiliated with both Goodwin Racing and Singular Motorsports. And thank you for having us. This is definitely once in a lifetime, so very cool to meet everybody and see what's going on over here and see all the platforms that are being pushed further and coming up with new solutions, which is fantastic. The Hyper Miata was just my way of trying to, I mean, I got a Miata and then I wanted to go fast. And so naturally, you're just going to do that with the car that you have. And now I have a car that I will never move on from. It'll just be my car until you'll get buried with it. But the Hyper Miata is. Does anybody know the Hyper Miata? Yeah, good. 1989 chassis, and it is running the V6 Chevy V6 now with Rotrex, and it's being rebuilt the third time over. Time attack, and it'll be running 18 by 11 wheels, 295 30/18 tire size, lots of aero, and just an iterative process of something breaks, you find a solution, you come up with a better version of it, and the car also is my university, my way to learn how this works, and then I move on to the next thing and how that works and how to build things and further my own skill set. So that's what I try to inspire with the build thread and the posts on Instagram and all of that, is I just want everybody to be inspired to do the same thing with their own cars.
And I think Ryan's hit the nail on the head there for everyone in this fraternity around why MX-5. It's because you can kind of learn almost any trade, any interest, any possible level of intrigue on an engineering term that you'd like, if you spend some time on the forums and you look at the kind of people who are interested in these cars, the talent that is in this community is just insane. Stefan is a legitimate engineer who worked on optics. You know, there's guys here that have got really massively high-paying jobs. There's guys that have got far more skills than warrant playing with little two-seater sports cars. But we all are here pushing the platform further than I think any other platform.
Yeah, it's funny if you get involved with other car groups for other chassis. If you're used to the Miata world, it's very disappointing. there's far too many people who know too much, you know, and they're just experts at this thing or that thing, and they pour it all into a Miata, and it almost doesn't make sense. But we're all better off for it.
So yeah, there's like the funny story is there is no platform, I think, where you talk about aerodynamics in a forum on the car.
Probably not.
Yeah. So this is the interesting part. Yeah, you have like a BMW and you do some stuff to it, but it's like there are flat underbodies, there are splitters, and you have to do the angle like this and this and just make the car faster. And so yeah, I think and this is something which you said, and I just keep it in mind. I just always tell this to people. If nobody in the world would do stuff like this with these cars and make pictures on Instagram and make YouTube videos like Crack and do time attack like you guys do, or building crazy cars like you do, or take cars on track and building like what we do, cars for customers and selling parts out like you do also, I think the scene would die. But this here is an example that the scene is not dying, so it's basically growing. And like you can, as a Miata guy, you can go to any place in the world and you will find another Miata guy, I'm pretty sure. And when you do not find somebody, you just roll right into the internet, because one of you guys will have on Facebook or Instagram, one of the guys who's probably in this area will say, hey, come by me, we have a meet over there, we get something together to eat. And this is like the whole world is I think in this little world working, and it makes me really proud to sit here and talk about that stuff. And we have people which are watching our videos, which are coming by, check the shop, and yeah, like you have guys from the States coming over.
So that got a little bit impromptu and we went maybe off piste, but how did you want to move forward? We can keep it rolling. Okay, I'll interview Ryan then, or I'll interview Ed, or.
So then we need the guys from 9 for 9 and probably Mr. Captain. Just need you here. So probably one of you can sit down here and yeah,
Absolutely.
please. So I think one of the first companies in the world.
It's a loving. It's a legitimate.
You wouldn't get this in any other community.
You do not want to see that. You do not want to see the iPhone pictures they showed me yesterday. It's wild. Yeah. So, but Flyin Miata, I guess really everybody from you knows the FM sticker and knows Flyin Miata. So I think is it the first or one of the first company? There was like a company called Bell Engineering. I think there was also pre from the standpoint, but you took already the MX-5 stuff to another level because you just made it kind of working. I think you were one of the first guys which just had complete kits with cassette headers which were working.
Yeah, that's right. So we did start early on with Bell Engineering. It's a company that unfortunately they're no longer around, but we split off from Bell Engineering around mid-2000s or so from their turbo kits and decided to go with some of our own castings, some of our own manufacturing processes. But our whole goal for these kits is that we want everything that we do to be complete. It's all together. You don't have to go to the hardware store. You don't have to go order parts elsewhere. You just get the whole kit from us. You bolt it in, you go have fun. And similar to Jan, we also try to do as much as possible for CARB, or California Air Resources Board.
First of all, we just have to ask
Emissions.
people, do you know what CARB is?
It's
Basically, yeah.
it's like TÜV, yeah.
Yeah. It's TOE for California, and
Just emissions.
Just emissions.
but they also take your car. So it's basically the same story like we have in Germany, but in the States everything is a bit more, let's say, aggressive, because they just take it and it's really hard to get it backwards. Just Greg told me, when you are on the black paper, yeah. So
Yeah, so to avoid issues where maybe you want to turbocharge your Miata and you want to have more power and have fun, well, you can't always do that easily, especially in California and a few other states. So our turbo kits, we always go with carb legality, which costs lots of money, as you know, for TUV, and it takes time. It's a lot of engineering work, a lot of gearing up with different calibration tuners, lots of different resources and engineers to make sure that we get everything just right, so that way you can have this kit. It's legal, it passed all of the emissions testing, you don't have to worry about it. The police officers, they won't bother you, or at least you can show them, no, it's good, everything's fine, it's legal. So we tried to do that. We actually just got confirmation on our new NC turbo kit yesterday that it is past carb emissions. So we'll have official paperwork probably in a few months, but we now know that everything's good to go. We were kind of waiting for that so that way we could release this kit. But now that we have confirmation, we'll now have carb legal boost for the NC generation in the US. I'll preemptively answer that unfortunately I don't think it'll work with right-hand drive MX-5s. I'm so sorry. But left-hand drives, it probably should work just fine. Yeah, so if you have a car here, you may be able to get one of our turbo kits, and maybe Jan will try one out.
yeah, I can try. We have also an emissions legal turbo kit.
Yeah, if you need goof, then you probably need to just talk to Jan. He's got the turbo kit for you.
So, to the guys from R9 from 9 and let's say Super Miata, I think all of you guys know the sexual wheel, because I think that's one part of the yeah, this is how we call this, like was like
That was part of the name.
Ah, okay.
That was intentional.
Okay.
So back in 2005, Emilio was. By the way, I'm Ed. I'm sales and marketing manager for Flyin Racing. This is Eric. He does a lot of our systems, and I don't know. He just does a lot of random stuff.
Whatever they don't
making
want to
lots of
do.
Inappropriate jokes.
I mean,
Too
close.
far. Okay, that's better. So back in 2005, Emilio wanted a wheel that you couldn't get, like a 15x8 that was a reasonable offset, that was affordable and regular production. So that finally came to fruition in 2007 with the original 6UL, and we've had it in and out of stock ever since. In 2011, we released the legendary Zeta coilover, the first generation of that, which is now available for all 4 generations of Miata, hopefully through Jan in the near future.
Yes, I can tell you we are working on to get the 949 racing wheel in Germany with TOE, but TOE makes it hard, especially when it comes to when we have a company in the States and it's not produced it's not produced by themselves. So it's really about going down to contracts and what we're working at. So the idea is to have the 949 racing wheel with TOE and also the Exceedus, which is way more easy to make the suspension, but we will definitely try to have the 949 racing wheel with TOE by the end of the year. Yes, that's the idea.
So so we're really excited about that. We built our brand by winning the Thunderhill 25 Hours Enduro in 2011 and 2012. In 2012, we fielded 4 cars in 3 different classes. We won all 3 classes that we entered in. So that was kind of really how we started our performance legacy. And then in 2017, we went to Super Lap Battle at Buttonwillow with the Miata in the unlimited rear-wheel drive class. So that's against any rear-wheel drive car, unlimited mods, and we won. And then in 2018, we went back with a different car, Vegas, with a lot more boost and a sequential transmission, and won again. And we're really proud of that. Like, it's a Miata, it beat everything. So, personally, I got into Miatas in 2010 is when I bought my first Miata, a little 97. It was a piece of junk. It was great. And then I was out of Miatas for a while, and then but really joined the community in full force in 2015. Spent a lot of time on Miata Turbo, built my car from the shell up after I totaled the first one, which was really cool. There's a long thread on MiataTurbo.net about that. and then joined 949 Racing in 2019 and have been there ever since. It's a great group, and I'm so grateful for Daniel and Jan and Ryan and FM, everybody. This has been a fantastic community. When I first joined, or really started spending time on Miata Turbo in 2015, I thought SPS was just a bunch of crazy Europeans that were putting way too much money into Miatas, and I was right. This is an incredible operation. I just want to echo what Daniel said, that I'm blown away by the level of build quality and detail, and it's just such an incredible place. Like Daniel said, this is not normal. None of us do workshop stuff. We just sell parts. And it's just incredible to see what they've done. Really, really cool to see.
Thank you. I just have to say thank you to my team, because I'm just tuning these cars anymore. I'm just a fucker who says, okay, do it again. I don't like it. So, yeah. So like all the team around, Ozan, Fabi, Lucas, Marius, and all the guys, they're just doing that artwork in the engine base. So yeah, I have to say thank you to them.
Ich bin Eric. Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch, so wenn du willst, wir können auf Deutsch reden. But every time I speak German, someone just speaks back to me in English. I flew all this way to practice, and you guys don't care. So I appreciate if you at least try a little German with me. I wasn't a Miata guy. I had a 60s Mustang, and Ed's dad and I were neighbors. And so Ed came by with his Miata, and I was like, oh, that's a cool car, whatever. And he invited me to the I probably bullied him, knowing me. Well, he took me out in it. He won me over. So he invited me to Laguna Seca, and I was like, I'll go to a racetrack. That sounds fun. And it changed my life. Basically, I've now sold my Mustang. Everyone says they have a shit box, but I have the world's worst Miata. It's been painted 4 times. They've tried to remove the paint, the original owners, and just gave up. So you can see multiple layers of paint. It has no rear window, no bumper. It makes 95 horsepower. Rats live in it. But it's one of the funnest cars on the planet. It just works, except a mouse chewed a wire recently. But it's never broken down on track. It lives at peak RPM because I'm too lazy to shift if the corner's coming up. It's got 1.6 brakes. 1.6 brakes for the win. I don't like the engines, but the brakes is what I'm passionate about. But the car, it just works. And that's what's so special about Miatas, is that you can do what Jan does, or you can do what I do. And I've made money on this Miata. I literally have sold so many parts that has paid for the Miata, so I have a free car. And I bet Jan's very jealous about that. But, it doesn't matter. Any Miata is fun, because the experiences you get. And so eventually, Ed, they had an opening at 949 Racing. I didn't want to take it, but I was like, because the pay wasn't as good as where I was, or at least for the area, for California. And then I thought, you know what, screw it. I'd rather do something I care about than just work. And I've loved it. The guys, Emilio has taught me so much. I think everybody in the community has learned something from Emilio. It's really cool to see all these cars there and see what we have done here, what little pieces have trickled over in every single build, and what people have in England and all over the world that have basically cross-pollinated. So it's really cool to see that all these cars together. I wish people would run Zetas instead of Meister R's here. It's really, and BCs. You guys really hurt our feelings. We spent all this time. No, I'm just kidding. But we're working on it. We'll get them here. You guys can get a ride in them and then see what it's all about. But really, thanks again, Jan. Jan has been so good to us. It feels like we've known each other for years. It's incredible. And thanks again to Daniel for putting it, introducing all of us together. Jan just showed up at Miata reunions at Sonoma. And again, I tried talking to him in German and he just switched to English. What a jerk. But and ever since then we've been chatting, and then with Daniel and with Jan, and it takes a long time to get TUV through, and we're being difficult because we keep changing factories and changing spec, and so TUV doesn't like that. But we're working on it, and we're just super excited to be here, and feel free to ask us any questions. We're more handling guys than power guys. We've kind of taken a little bit of a different route than, say, Flyin Miata with carbon kits. We're really about sway bars, brake kits, suspension, wheels. So that's really our wheelhouse. So let us know if you guys have any questions. I can't do technical things in German, so
You can better than me.
What?
You'll do it better than me.
No, I think we'd probably be about the same. Plus, I won't know the answer anyways. But either way, seriously, just so stoked to be here. It's been incredible. Germany is so much more beautiful than I even remembered when I lived here. There's nowhere else in the world you're going to see 3 castles on your way from the grocery store to the hotel. So, just love being back. Thank you guys.
I would say something. For me, being an MX-5 fan all my life, what's happening here in this stage right now, it is very, very important. I don't know if the audience can really understand, but basically we have some of the oldest shops in the business. So I think at some point in the US, 90% of the aftermarket stuff was sold between Goodwin and Flyin Miata, and the guys are 949 when it comes to handling. I think you would ask what kind of suspension should I put in my Miata, and the automatic answer before anyone tries to say anything else would be Citas. And I would say when it comes to Europe, SPS and both of the guys are supplying, I would say probably 70%, 80% of the aftermarket stuff, and all these people are sitting together discussing like friends. These are theoretically competing businesses. Okay, no, like friends. Like,
Yeah. This is the thing, you know.
We're just like friends.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like, you know, Daniel and me, we are chatting about sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes 1 time in a month. But yeah, it happens.
Are you upset about that? Do I need to increase the frequency?
Yeah, I have
You
to
need more
increase.
consistency
Yep.
from me.
Yes. The problem is you don't get up at 5. That's the problem.
I'm busy swimming the English Channel.
Yes. So basically, when people are saying, they're buying stuff from both, you say, yeah, it's fine for me because he's a friend. So this is like, we do not sit here as competitors, and also the people in the States, because I don't care about where you buy it when it's kind of not TOE related, because this is a problem. Like when somebody says, yeah, I just did not, let's say I bought the fluid damper from both, you say, okay, I don't care, because, but when he, let's say, bought, what is a good thing, he bought a turbo kit from Daniel, it's impossible to approve it because it comes down to a lot of quality management stuff like ISO 9001 and stuff. So, but again, I think these guys sitting here as friends, I had the feeling yesterday in the Döner Kebab shop, and when I saw your pictures, I think you are more than friends. And we are sitting here as friends, and like we have also one guy here. He's also pretty known in the Miata turbo scene, and he has also always his camera in his hand, and he's known as a reverend. I think that was his name back in Miata turbo time. So he's also here from Demi from MS Labs. So probably he would just take a microphone and just tell some stuff how he got into the ECU business.
I will say real quick that what you're saying about everybody being friends is legitimate. It's not like we're all here in Germany and we all have to play nice together. When I'm at the racetrack, this is actually something that I learned from Emilio and picked up from him early at my time at the racetrack in a Miata. Was Emilio, when you're at the track, if you have a Miata and you're at the track, you're his best friend. And Emilio can come across really kind of blunt, and you know, he's moving fast and he's doing things and he's just going to tell you exactly what he's thinking when he's thinking it. But if you need a hand or if you need advice, it doesn't matter who you are, he helps you out. And so he actually helped me with getting fast with my Miata when it was just a turbo 1.6 long ago, back in the day.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that struck home to me. And so I took that when I went to Global Time Attack and Super Lab Battle. Anybody who was at the track was a friend. And anybody with a Miata especially was family. And I feel like, carry that into all of our businesses. Everybody here, we're all friends. And we'll spend time together, talk together, we'll call each other. You know, I just had a call where, you know, I was talking to, I think you were on the call, and Emilio was chatting about stuff, and you know, just what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I think that that's really cool, and I don't think that that's something that's common in the aftermarket industry with other platforms either. I think that there's a lot more rivalry, legitimate rivalry going on, and so I think that's another really unique element about this whole world. It's very cool.
So just to maybe add another spin on that as well, perhaps slightly political, but the way that we're approaching this, and this has been a hard-fought thing to an extent, right? Everyone has a guard up. Everyone's thinking, well, what's going on? Who's this random British guy saying everyone come together, all the rest of it? And slowly, we've all just said, hey, let's just see what it's about and just trust in the process of seeing what it's like. And what everyone's learned is that every company that's here, you can have the attitude of, right, I want to sell every shock must be Zeda's, every shock must be this, or whatever the hell. You can't. It doesn't work, right? And on our business side, we started off with the attitude of we will only ever sell stuff that we personally have touched or whatever it might be. That's how we started. But you can't do it because everyone's budget and everyone's understanding and everyone's vision is different. So why not just give them the best experience of buying the product they're going to buy anyway, and help them with it and give them the best possible warranty and returns and shipping and all the rest of it. So our website is kind of a representation of the community in the sense of we will sell everything because everyone's going to buy everything, and there's no point saying I'm not selling that because of that or whatever nonsense. And that, I feel like, really echoes the way that we're all sat around the table. So
I just don't think we could do the carb kits the way that they do them. And, you know, the products that Goodwin's offered, you guys have done a lot for the NC, a platform that we've ignored for a long time. We've come around on it. You know, we're coming around. But yeah, it's incredible to be here with guys that are doing things that we love, and they're doing it differently, and it's not wrong. You know, it's just different, and it's incredible to be here with everybody, and everybody's friends. They let me sit on their lap. I mean, like, this is the best vacation of my life. You know? So I just, seriously, guys, really appreciate it. It's not fake. That was a sincere lap sit, Daniel.
So now the Greek guy is on, like both Greek guys. So you know each other, I think, really long time. So
I don't know, like 15 years or something like that.
So just to introduce you, so Dimi. So just to introduce Dimi, he's the guy from MS Labs, and I think he, in the Miata scene, dropped the MS ECUs to another level, and he's still doing it every day.
Yes, correct. So my name is Dimitris. I am from MS Labs, and I have 2002 NBFL. So when I got this car second-hand in 2004, I immediately started thinking about what I want to do with the car. At the time, everyone was either throwing like a basic turbo kit or a supercharger on the car. I didn't really like that direction because, you know, it was the early days. There were many problems with these kits. So I said, I probably want to do like something naturally aspirated, like ITBs and high compression and cams and everything. So I started buying stuff, and the limiting factor was the ECU. So there was the Hydra from Flyin Miata, that was like $2,000 or something like that, plus shipping, plus import fees and customs for us European guys, you know the deal. So I was like, okay, maybe I will try it, but I'm not really sure because there's the alternator control thing, and I don't know if the Hydra works with that, or it's not really documented. And there was some sort of thing where if I wanted support from the FM guys, the time difference maybe wouldn't help so much, and so I finally found one, a Hydra kit from someone local, and I tried it, and it didn't work for me because maybe I was new at tuning at the time. So I decided to go the Mega Squad route. I built a kit for my car in 2006. Luckily it worked, and I learned how to tune it. And after some time, some friends from our local club say, hey, we've seen your car, it works, would you build a kit for me too? And I built the second one, and third one, and the fourth one, and then I started talking about it on Miata Turbo, and then in 2008, I think, or 9, I got an order from someone in Sweden, and then it picked up. And then we started developing the newer generations, and my vision for it was, I always wanted it to be plug and play. So you buy it, you plug it in, it has a base map, and it runs. You don't have to do exhaustive wiring, you don't have to do a lot of stuff. It's supposed to work like you drop it in, it works, you have minimal problems, and maybe you don't even need to contact us at all for technical support. And that's the entire vision. But sooner or later, we had to make it even better, maybe add stuff that normal Mega Squares don't have. I mean, if you had an MS2 back in the days, like in 2010, it didn't have AC control. Like many in Germany don't even have AC in their cars, but we're in Greece and we have like 40-degree weather in the summer, so it's kind of essential if you don't want to melt in the seat. So we had to add all that stuff and improve it in the MS3 and all the other platforms. Then came the lovely DUV. And if you have an NBFL, you have an OBD port. And if you want to pass DUV inspections, that has to work. And we try to make all that stuff work too. All the OEM stuff working. And that was probably a good deal of work on our side, but working with Jan, who know what they're doing and what needs to be done, I think we got it in the end.
I think it took the ECU to another level, but we are sitting here with a bunch of guys, and I do want to stop Dimi from talking, but we are missing one guy, because you know there's one guy in this wall. He was already sitting here on these chairs, but I get so many emails which says, I saw this in a YouTube video, there's this guy in San Diego and he used it on his car, and I think it's better than the thing that you are using because he is not using your thing. And I was trying to reach to him out, and he answered me and I said, okay, he's talking, that's good. And I said, I think this problem with the head lift, you can get rid of it with a Athena head gasket and with intake valves. And I think this was the first time we chatted about the intake valve wearing out. And I think a lot of people in this community, especially in Germany, would not do all that, let's say, shit or all that crazy builds if this guy over there would not do what he is doing. So please give him another audience, because we would not sit like this here together with all these crazy guys. So Greg, please come up. I know you do not like to be really in the middle of us, so in the middle of Daniel and me, but now you have to. So yeah, you will also tell a few words, but this is like, you know, this channel is so big, and when he was using parts from us, I would say people were sending me screenshots of like, hey, Greg Peters is using your stuff in their car, and I said, yeah, I know, I just talked to him. What, you talked to him? What? How did you talk to him? I sent him a message on Instagram. Wasn't that difficult? So, and yeah, Daniel was like to me, because I'm really also normally a shy guy, so I do not talk to any people, so it's really difficult for me to sit here. And like Daniel was, Jan, you cannot be talk that open and that hardly to Greg. Be really friendly to him. It's too much people or whatever. So we discussed frontwards and backwards to make it as relaxed to come here as possible. And then the first day he was here for about, let's say, 30 minutes. I said, okay, do you want to see the shop? Yeah, let's have a short shop tour. Then we went over to the guys which are making the pictures. Then we went there and there and there. So we had like, I think, a pretty good success in the first day. So again, I'm really happy to have you here, Greg. And I'm really happy that you support that community in every way what you're doing.
And again, I'm extremely grateful for all the people, Jan, Dan especially, that helped put this together. And despite being a little bit more on camera and public, I definitely am a little bit of a socially awkward penguin, if anyone remembers that meme. But I'm doing my best. And you spoke about people comparing kind of what I'm doing on my channel compared to kind of the build you're doing, and I'll be the first to say that I have not built many.
One short question, Craig. Is your engine reliable now?
Do I have to answer the same way on the live stream in front of everyone?
That was like insane.
It's really not. No. But I'm working through it. But part of what I try to do with that engine is just push it harder and harder and harder and harder until something breaks. And I broke 3 main caps in a single pull, but I knew I was pushing it very hard. And I put a turbo on it, and I want 500 horsepower, but I also want as much response as possible, so I put the smallest turbo I can and then run it on the very, very right side of the map and spin it as fast, even above what the recommended speed is, to try to just push it harder and harder. And I know I'm pushing it, which is why it breaks. And many people say, oh, you're just building an unreliable car, but I'm kind of doing it by design, and my car over many years has been a learning experience for me. And I want to make it a point that I have not done some of the crazy things that a lot of the shops and that many, many people in the community have done already. But the thing that I'm extremely proud of is just documenting what I'm doing with my own car, even if it is simple, and then so many people telling me that because of seeing the videos and seeing someone else do even simple jobs, they got the confidence to start working on their Miata when it was intimidating before, and then they end up getting deeper and deeper into it and eventually end up with this crazy build and say it was because of you that I started working on my car. So I'm proud to say that even though I do everything with just hand tools in my driveway on a busy street, on jack stands, bench pressing transmissions 10 times into the car, that other people see that and maybe they'll think, you know what, if he can do it that way, maybe I can do it that way also. So that's kind of been what my channel has been about since I started it, and it seems to have worked well, so yeah.
Thank you very much for that, and then you want to say also some words.
So I've told you this many times, and I think Matthew's told you this as well. I'll be more funny than candid. You are the biggest financial mistake we have been experienced, been blessed with. So Boffy as an entity, as I've said to you before, probably would be half the size or less without your production of videos on the internet. And that's just because people can watch them and feel like they can do it. And I think every customer who has bought a set of bearings or a set of rods or a set of pistons has been influenced in some way by you. You in turn have been influenced by Miata Turbo, right?
Yes.
And that forum is the birthplace of fast turbo Miatas. It really is. And as we've said before, like, you're not doing anything super groundbreaking in the beginning. It's just doing what the Miata Turbo guys said to do and videoing it. And you've gone past that now, admittedly, absolutely. But it just made the public not have to deal with Miata Turbo.
Yes, and in the very beginning, since I found such great value in MiataTurbo.net, I put in my videos directing people like, oh, you guys can learn the same stuff that I'm doing by going to MiataTurbo.net, and then all the MiataTurbo.net guys got mad because I was sending a bunch of people there, and they're asking, oh, how many PSI can my rods handle? And like,
what oil should I run?
Use the search bar.
Yes, exactly.
And that forum, talking about community, right? That forum had a choice. It could either be the forum for everyone, answering everyone's questions, being the place to be, and it's decided not to be. Miata.net is apparently the new cool place. But because it decided not to be that, it's now fractured the community in a bit. Forums are dead, Facebook is non-permanent, information gets lost. The only place that it exists now is YouTube. We as a community should probably think of how we can improve that going forward, as you can't technically search information when it's in a YouTube video. You know, you can't find answers to direct questions, you have to watch the whole thing. But yeah, my point, my overarching point is, Greg, you are more than appreciated, more than you know, and we're so pleased that you are doing what you're doing, and so pleased that you're here.
I appreciate the very kind words.
No problem.
It's hard to tell sometimes when it's just me by myself in the garage talking to a camera, and then I press upload and I say, well, we'll see what happens. And then I come to an event like this, and it takes me 3 hours to walk 1 kilometer, or not a kilometer, but from one side of the event to the other, because so many people want to stop and talk to me. So it's very cool to come to an event like this.
So thank you all of having you here, and I think all of you guys are now free, so you can talk to them. So, but one thing, beware if it's too much for them, because I think you're here since 3 days, so jet lag is a bit also a thing. So if they want to have a bit of quietness, just because then they will move. So just keep them alone. But on the other side, but now we are open, so you just can talk to Greg, to talk to the guys from 949, talk to the guys from Flyin Miata, talk to Demi about ECUs. Like, I think Felix got some questions about ECUs, so Demi probably. So talk to Ryan about the Hyper Miata, which it's actually hyped all of us here to bring that platform to the point where we are. And talk to Stefan if you want to build a good B6, because he's really your 1.6 guy. So.
And we've got, you might know from Instagram, Nardo MX5, aka MJL Motorsports, 420 horsepower. Does 180 mile an hour on the UK roads when you shouldn't. Mexico. And we've got Tom Chappenden, who is really doing some interesting stuff. Cold side engineering, doing the first cold side supercharger kit that's been done since Fast Forward Superchargers, and he makes a legitimate 365 reliable horsepower because he has VMAX the thing on the Autobahn repeatedly in the last couple of days. So yeah, please go and speak to them. Matthew loves talking about his experiences of building his car and meeting me, and the financial mistakes that has caused him, and the trips that I have helped achieve him going on. So it's a double-edged sword, kind of like owning a Turbo MX-5.
So yeah, please shoot out to the guys, give them an audience, show them that you're happy that they are here, and let's have a good day. And yeah, go to the drift challenge, go to the simulator, have some fun, eat a sausage and get some drinks. So, and hopefully you stay long the night, because I think it will be a long day at SPS. And thank you for listening to us. And we also have to give out a shout to our interviewer, who is Mr. One Lap Heroes, because he influenced also some of you guys. Because I know back in the days,
absolutely,
that game started, what time can your Miata do at the ring? So, and there was the ring banana, there was the V6, and it was like, yeah, now I'm the fastest MX-5 on the Nürburgring Nordschleife. And I said, yeah, this is a challenge, my friend. And we started the challenge, and Lennart, who is also part of our team, he was like, how we just have to get that fucking Greek guy from the first position, but it's definitely not easy to do it. So
Kostas is so fast a driver, he also, in his YouTube videos, you have to turn it to 0.75 speed to listen to them, to be able to understand.
See that guy with a long beard, he's doing a great job to push us all beyond the limits when we are on track. So just give him also a smaller audience for the One Lap Hero YouTube channel.
Final thing from me, and I'll let Jan sign off. I brought a few of these. If you would like one, come and find me and tell me your best story, and I will give you one. There's someone here who came and found me to request one. You've got one. This is yours. That's fine. Brilliant. Come and see me.
So cool. So I think Kostas, you're also around. If you want to talk to any corner, any little stone on Nordschleife, any problem that you can have with your Miata on Nordschleife about blowing up engines, losing wheels or whatever, I think he did everything. Have a chat to him. He's a really nice guy. Probably you have to make a video about it, and this is what Daniel explained to you. You have to make it slower, hit it again, and then you can answer him. But I think he will take his time for you and probably speak a bit slower. So thank you for having you here. Thank you for doing the interviews. Thank you all you guys out there doing the community stuff with us, doing the season opener as it is. There's still coming cars by, and yeah, now we have a good day together and have some fun.